Welcome to Sea Stories, everybody. Sea Stories are tall tales generally told amongst fishermen and sailors. We like to pay homage to the olden days by telling sea stories of our own over some brews. So as I introduce all the guests today, they're gonna be telling you what they're drinking. I'll kick it off first. My name is Adam, and today I'm drinking a from Golden Road Brewing, based out of Los Angeles. This is a mango cart, which is a mango wheat ear, 4% ABV, and it's pretty good. I can't wait to review it at the end of the episode, as we always do. What's going on, Andy? How have you been, and what are you drinking today?
I've been pretty good, and today I am enjoying Yingling's Hershey's Chocolate Porter. It's kind of like a special, or I don't know if it's seasonal or whatever, but a little bit different brew from the normal Yingling. But as always, they are America's oldest brewery.
I haven't had a Yingling in a minute. I remember they were pretty big on the East Coast when I was in the Navy.
Yeah, it's kind of like PA or originated or something like that. But we'll get into it later.
Yeah. What's going on, Joe? How have you been, and what do you got for us today?
Fellas, today I'm drinking the a Dunkel by KC Beer Company, 5.0 ABV, and it's kind of like I don't know, it's been around Kansas City for a while. It's out of Kansas City, by the way, because you didn't catch the KC part. It's pretty solid. It's kind of a popular little brew around here these days. And I think that anybody that enjoys beer would really enjoy this guy. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting into it.
Awesome. Yeah, like I can't wait to hear the reviews, because like whenever we get to what do we go to 10 on the scale, or 5?
It's out of 5. Yeah.
Whenever we get to the 5s, I like really want to try those beers.
Yeah.
But as you can see, Drew is not here with us today. So he's on vacation or something, right?
Yeah, something like that, I believe.
So we got a couple special guests today. First, I want to introduce everybody. This is not only our first active duty military member, but the first STG. We'll get into the FC STG relationship, but I'd like to introduce everybody to Adam Warzella. What's going on, Warzella? How have you been, and what do you got drinking today?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I've been pretty good. I'm drinking Lagunitas. It's called the Hazy Wonder. It's 6%, and it's out of Petaluma, California, so southern-ish California. It's a hazy IPA, so we'll see how it goes over the next beer or two, probably.
Well, no, you might be toast, man.
Before we get into this is going to be off script, off topic, off away from what we normally do, but the fire control man and let's start off with Warzella. Tell everybody what you do in the Navy.
Yeah, so I'm a sonar technician, and we look for submarines from the surface and then maybe fire a torpedo at them. It's never happened, but
we could.
We could, yeah. It could happen.
We're able to.
Yeah. We look at lines on a screen that look a lot like Matrix and pretend like we know that we're looking at submarines.
I have a ton of funny stories, but hey, Andy and Joe, can you tell the relationship between the fire controlman and the sonar techs?
I mean, what, like?
I feel like there is always like this strong, like
It's like there's not really like any real rivalry per se, but there's like it's an interesting dynamic, I guess, because like whatever it is, whether it's just working up forward generally in like the sonar dome and everything else, or something, there's like
it's like we work.
There's a lot of characters in the sonar community, as the slightest way to put it. Like generally they're good people. Like we've a lot of good friends. Like Zell here, and our good buddy from Boston, Bob, and
Yeah.
York and Spivey and all kinds of great people that we've had on the Donald Cook over the years.
Is it like they work? They're similar to us, but they work just far enough away that we don't ever beef or there's no rivalry. Is that what it is, Joe?
I always thought it was a lot like when I got onto the ship, I've said this before that there was like the new class of FC Aegis guys that came on board, and I was like right in the middle of that whole mix of people coming in, and at that same time there was guys that the old class was leaving, and it was the new class like Bob and Bell and there was a couple other ones, and we were all the same age, and then we all cranked together. We all went through like in-dock and stuff together, and I kind of like the while Aegis is doing the up in the air stuff, they're doing the under the water stuff, and it's I think they're just far enough away that we kind of get it, the whole thing, stay and watch all the time. There's not much to do in port for sonar guys. So I mean, like, people in the water, turn that shit off. People in the air, you got to turn that Aegis shit off. So there's so much similarities, and also all those guys were just solid guys, yes. Solid people. Yeah. For being in two different departments, but weapons and combat systems work so close together on a day-to-day. Yeah, sure. Everybody's on the AF line. Everybody's doing. Yeah. You're stuck with all those guys all the time. For any of the extra ship-wide that you have to do on a day-to-day basis, there's always a mess of sonar guys that are sticking around and doing it too. So misery loves company.
I want to get your opinion more, Zella, but I also want to note that like there is a rivalry between FCs and ETs. There's a rivalry between FCs and OSs, but I've never experienced a rivalry between FCs and STGs. Zella, how's the dynamic these days between FCs and STGs, or did we just catch each other at the right time?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that bad. Like they were saying earlier, there's a lot of characters in the sonar community, so you're either on one side of the spectrum or the other. There's not really too many like in between guys. So a lot of people shy away from the sonar techs just because they're on that one end of the spectrum. But we had a really good group. I don't know how specific we're getting, but like with Gibby and Strick, if you guys remember them. And then I think the first time I met Joe was on like line handlers back Ave. And I think both you guys were actually line captains, right? Like you two and then Gibby or something like that, I think were the line captains back Ave. Yeah. And like just the shenanigans that happened back there, like that was the first time I met them. So I don't think it's changed much. FC is kind of split into that Aegis, their own community now or whatever, but I still bullshit with all of them. So I haven't seen a huge change from back then. As long as you're decent, I think we sniff each other out pretty well.
So Warzella, since you're obviously new to the podcast, we got to get to know you a little bit more. But so I always want to start off with these questions: is if you could name your favorite meal to have on the boat and your least favorite meal to have on the boat, what would they be?
Man, the night after mid-rats is probably up there for one of my favorites, to be honest. Just because like it's all garbage food anyways, pretty much. And just something about eating, rice that night that they cooked that morning just tastes a little better when you're on the 22 to 02 or the 2 to 7. Just tastes a little better. And you can kind of do whatever you want to it. Like they would let us go back into the galley and like make our own like stuff. So I know that's not a specific meal per se, but like going to mid-rats was the shit. Yeah. And then least favorite, I mean, you almost have to say like the steak and lobster, right? Because like when you got steak and lobster, you knew you were gonna be like, you knew shit was happening.
Oh,
Like
see, you went the other way.
that was my
Fired up.
problem with steak and lobster, because if you knew that was happening, or an ice cream social out of the blue, right? Like if one of those two things happened, you're getting dicked. Like it's not excuse me, but yeah, you're not, it's not good. Like it's gonna be a bad day. So I mean,
Trying to get you in any trouble here since you are still active duty. So
yeah, no,
any of the MSs on that ship,
yeah,
you bring up eating rice from the morning, the previous morning at night. And and it just now dawned on me, like, how many different ways have you eaten rice in the military? And I've seen I've eaten it plain. I've eaten it with just salt and pepper. I've eaten it with gravy on it. When I'm growing up, we just had like, it was just rice.
Yeah, it was either rice-a-roni or white rice. Or something.
Rice-a-roni or just like white rice. And in the military, they were like, "Oh yeah, put a scoop of gravy." I'm like, what the hell's going on here? I've never seen some of that shit before. Man, you can eat a lot of rice.
Another good one was like with cinnamon, sugar, and milk.
I've seen people do that.
That was so good.
Did you ever do that as a kid, or is that something you just learned in the military?
I did it as a kid, yeah. And then you know, in the galley they gave you like free reign. In the galley at Midrats, they didn't care. They just let you go in there and do whatever you wanted to do.
It's all going to the trash anyway.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of free reign on stuff, it reminded me of this. Like, how pissed were you guys when they would run out of strawberry jam in the galley, or the jelly packets?
Well, strawberry was always the first one to go,
and then the mixed, and then there was
the never-ending supply of grape jelly.
Grape, yeah. All right, I got another question for you, Warzella.
All right.
Thinking back of all the many deployments you've done, if there was a movie playing in the lounge that would, every time it was on, you'd have to like watch it for at least like 15-20 minutes, regardless of what you're doing, what movie would be playing?
Oh man, that one's a tough one. There was so many, like on the 2007 deployment, there was so many like weird movies that came out that year that they would replay over and over and over again. And I'm trying to think of them off the top of my head, and I just can't. So I'm not sure. Shit. I'll have to think about that one a little bit.
You can say Mean Girls if that's what it was.
Oh no, I think that was Mean Girls was a little too early, I think.
Yeah.
I always
that was
said
the
Bring It
previous
On.
cruise.
Bring It On.
Bring It On.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head, man. It's been so long.
What were you saying, Joe?
The correct answer is Demolition Man.
Demolition.
The 300 came out around that time.
I think we've heard that one too.
So I think like 300 was probably up there.
I'm sure that was played. I'm sure they melted the fucking CD of that.
I'm sure it's fleet wide, like movies for men who like movies.
Yeah. I remember a little off topic. I remember seeing that actually live on my first underway in Boston for St. Patty's Day when we went up there in 07.
Yeah.
First underway.
Oh, that was your first one?
Yeah.
That was a hell of an underway.
That was your wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We'll eventually get to that.
That sucked.
We're gonna start our port visit episodes when Drew gets back, but that's definitely gonna be one of the topics of conversation. Why don't you give us a little background, Warzella? Why did you join the Navy? How did you get recruited? And tell us a little bit about your boot camp experience.
All right. Yeah. So I joined out of North Carolina, Central North Carolina in Fayetteville. It's right next to Fort Bragg, which is a huge Army town. So recruiters all over the place for Army. But I was in, I think it was math. I think it was like AP Trig. they were like, hey, if you want to go take this test, you can get out of class for the day. I was like, sweet, I'll get out of class for the day. And that's when I went and took my ASFAB. Had no idea I was going to join. Had no intentions of joining. And I think that was late junior year that I took that test. And then, senior year came around and I was like, I don't know what the fuck I want to do with myself. I have no idea. I don't know if I want to go to college or what I want to do in college. And, I like to party a little bit, and, I was like, maybe I'm not quite ready to go to college yet. I might just waste that money. So I was like, all right, well, let's see what this is like. So went to Air Force recruiter first. And, cause I got like a 87 or 88 on my ASVAB, which, for those that don't know, it's not a horrible score. It's pretty decent. And they were like, oh, well, right now we're just putting you wherever we need you. So you're not going to get a job that might be up to your line of intelligence or where you're good at. So I was like, well, I'm clearly not going to do that, because you guys are just going to put me somewhere where I definitely don't want to be. And then I went and talked to the Navy recruiter after that. And it was like an ET2, kind of a weird dude. But most ETs aren't they? So he like just put me up on game and was like, hey, you can get pretty decent job with decent advancement rates and blah 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 blah, and you get to see the world. And that all that kind of struck out to me. So that's kind of the way I went, and just wanted to get out of the hometown and get a little bit of insight in the world before I just jumped into college not knowing what I wanted to do or how I wanted to live my life. So original plan was do my 5 years and get out, and then here we are 16 years later.
I guess I want to ask is when did it hit you that this is going to be a long-term thing?
When I was hitting my like 8-year mark, and they were like, look, you have to re-enlist in the next, whatever it was, like 7 months or 8 months. Otherwise you're getting out. And I was like, well, I'm already almost halfway there. And I don't hate it yet. Good experiences and bad experiences aside, it was pretty fun getting to see all the stuff we got to see, doing all the stuff we got to do, meeting all kinds of people. And I had never really thought far enough ahead to be like, I want to get out and do this. So I was like, I'll make it a career at that point. So I think that's where I was at.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that
question.
Oh yeah, go for it.
You said you were taking AP Trig in high school, and so you must be a pretty big brain back in those days. Did the recruiter just come straight at you with STG, and you were like, I like the way that sounds, or was there like a whole mess of things they offered you and then you settled on that, or what?
Yeah, I had no idea what any of them meant. I didn't do like any of the like digging in. I was like, I think I asked them which ones had good advancement rate. My stepdad was Army, so he kind of had some insight into like into how the military works, and like advancement was different in the Navy than it is in the Army, and all that stuff. So I think he was like, hey, make sure you ask them about like how advancement is. Make sure you don't take a job where you only need like a 32 ASVAB score to get in on it. So he kind of put me on that level and let me know, what to watch out for. And I think I actually had like ST, IT, and one of the CTs. And I was like, CT just sounds a little too like intense for me, so I'm not going to go that way. And then I think I was stuck down between IT and ST, and I just kind of flipped a coin in my head and went sonar.
Nice.
Like, no offense to the ITs, but like if you're going to join the military, you might as well go a route that has to do with blowing shit up or
I agree.
engineering, something Dex Heman even before unless computers are your thing. But I think that's what my line of thinking, anyways.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So I don't really have anything planned today. So if you guys haven't listened to the latest episode where I interview a retired United States Air Force veteran, I debuted a couple new questions on that episode. And I figured that since we're doing this off script episode, that I'd ask you guys these questions, and then we'll just do the episode from there. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
These are
Man.
these are questions based on senses and reflecting back upon your naval career, and it'll make sense once we get started. The first thing I want you guys to do is clear your mind. You guys, let me know when you guys your minds are cleared.
Yeah. I'm there.
Eyes be closed.
What's that?
Should my eyes be closed?
If that's how you got to clear your mind, then just let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
Good.
All right. Like I said, these questions are based on your senses. And the first sense we're going with is vision. So thinking back on and reflecting on your naval career, when you think of something visually about your naval career, what's the first thing you think of?
It's great.
Maybe I'll give you some examples. Maybe it's
I
like
don't know,
a
I'd say-
sunset. Maybe it's like a computer screen, or maybe it's something visual when you think about your Navy career. Let's start with Andy.
Yeah, for some reason, like the first thing that really came to me that kind of stands out, like as a intense or I don't know, like a visual that stands out was the first time I saw an aircraft carrier.
Oh,
So because I'd met the ship on deployment, I came down to NOB and was on like in TPU or whatever holds, waiting to go to the ship. And I remember we went down by the piers for whatever reason to get something out that way. And I can't remember, maybe the Eisenhower, whatever carrier it was, but seeing it for the first time and just seeing how physically big it was just kind of like crazy to fathom. Like, you knew it was big, but like until you actually see the carrier itself, like you don't have any real concept of actually how big it is,
And then this giant thing just floats on the water and just carries a shit ton of people and equipment and a fucking King Kong if they needed to.
Yeah.
Joe, what do you got?
I brought up before just how like awe-inspiring an aircraft carrier was. Like the first time that I ever did line handlers for another ship or whatever was for an aircraft carrier on the pier as they were pulling in. And yeah, Andy's right. I mean, if you've never been on a naval base or anything and you see one, I mean, it's just like you're kidding me, right? And then the sheer number of people on that thing. And then, I mean, when you actually take a walk on one for a minute, you're just like, holy shit. But I guess like when I think about the Navy in general, I just think of that haze gray color,
Yeah.
it's not even a bad thing.
No.
I mean, it all just kind of, it's just neutral. Yeah. I mean, when you're in there, it's like, oh, God, I hate this color. But I mean, everything's gray, except for that like blue chip sealed floor shit they have on some places, but
PRC decks.
Yeah.
I want to tell this quick sea story about the size of an aircraft carrier. On my first deployment, we pulled into like Bahrain or some shit with the aircraft carrier. By chance there happens to be an aircraft carrier. I'm on a destroyer, but we pulled into this Middle Eastern port one time, and we were what do they call it? That part, it had to be Bahrain or where the it was just like this. They called it the sandbox or something.
Yeah, I
like
was in Jebel Ali.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not Bahrain, because Bahrain was
The base.
there's the base. Yeah. but-
Okay. But anyways, I saw some dude from my high school was there, and he recognized me. We weren't friends or anything. We just recognized each other because we went to the same high school. And he goes, "Hey, what's up, man? You went to Reed High School?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, I remember you." And he goes, "What department do you work on the carrier? I haven't seen you." And granted, we've been in the Navy for maybe 2 years at this point, and he thought I worked on the carrier with him. That's how big these fucking things are.
That is crazy to be like eating lunch and be like, who the hell is this guy sitting next to me?
I haven't seen him, and he probably worked there longer than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Warzella, when you think of something visual, reflecting on your, up to this point military service, what do you think about?
Yeah. I think for me, it's walking outside when we set sea and anchor and just seeing a new port, like a new country. Like every time you go outside, you'd see a new country because you're pulling into a port.
Yeah.
Especially in 07 when we hit, what was it, like 30 different countries? Like,
Yeah.
So as soon as you walk out that door and you just see a completely different world than what you're used to, than what you've ever seen before, I think that's what like everything reminds me of, is just the complete change in a world than you're used to.
That's such a cool experience as well, just seeing a totally different country. Mine is kind of along the same lines. When I think of something visual, I think about being in the Middle East, and when the water is perfectly calm, it looks like a mirror, an endless mirror. I always picture that when I think about my career. All right.
Stupid now.
What's that?
My answer sounds really stupid.
All
It's
right.
underway, man.
No, I mean, you're definitely not wrong. I mean,
Yeah,
everybody will always picture that in their heads. Anybody that's ever served was just gonna continuously picture that color in their head for the rest of their lives. There's
Right.
no way to get it out.
All right, gentlemen, let's clear our minds once again. Clear our minds. And now we're going to go with the hearing. When you reflect back on your naval career and you think about an audible something, what do you think about? Andy, you want to kick us off again?
Sound, I mean, like, there's like the sound of 400 hertz definitely sits in my mind, oddly enough. Like, I mean, granted, like forward power was underneath our shop, so it was plenty of times that it went down there, either whether it was sweepers or something, or whatever. Plus we had that fan room right there too by it, so I mean, like, there was plenty of times we heard that that distinct hum, I guess, whatever you want to call it. That definitely stands out as a auditory memory.
Can are you able to describe 400 hertz?
It's like a high pitch kind of hum to it, but it's not like a shrieking nails on a chalkboard or anything like that. It's just kind of like, it's just kind of like that, that like a constant high pitched tone that's just kind of like it sings, so to speak.
That's
not
funny.
like in a pleasant or displeasant way, just there.
Joe, you got an audible memory for us?
Yeah. Reveille. Even like as a man of the Navy, like, I mean, like, I always used to think it was so, like, I mean, it was the worst sound in the world sometimes, I mean, you never really, I guess, want to wake up. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I guess you don't want to spend your entire naval career in a coma.
Yeah, you couldn't sleep enough in the military.
You know,
We tried.
but you know, like looking back on, like, I mean, like there's a whole, like, you know, like saying, I don't even reveille, all hands heave out, tricep,
Yeah.
get some breakfast,
Uniform.
and I don't even know.
The uniform of the
Of the
day.
day is as follows.
Yeah.
You know, the whole spiel, that whole thing. I remember. I wish I remember more of it, but I remember like the most specific. You know, like reveille, all hands heave out and tricep, and then that bosun whistle too.
Yeah.
You know, or I think that's how I mean, but it just being like, and you got like, you got a good guy do it when you got someone that's really, like, you know, hot to trot on blasting that thing in your
Yeah.
face. You know, they're like, you know, I gotta be awake. Everyone else is gonna be awake too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that to me is something that really sticks out.
You got RJW on the microphone with his pipe, I think they're calling.
The pipe. I hate to say whistle because I'm sure that, you know, people are gonna be like, this motherfucker didn't listen in 6 years. He didn't do shit about. Like, yeah, yeah, blasting the pipe.
Warzella.
Yeah, I think mine's on sort of the similar level as Joe's is, like the piping just in general, like throughout the day. So you had piping in the morning, and then you had it for lunch, and then for trash, and then you had it at nighttime, and you had it anytime you pulled alongside another ship or did anything like that. There's just like whistles for days. So whistles are definitely up there. And then the song, whatever song it would be, it'd be a different one a lot of times, but the song we would do pulling away from another ship on unrep.
Yeah.
So that's like, I mean, it would always be, we change songs every deployment or whatever, but like, just remembering like that pulling away, and then pulling away super fast, and you're almost horizontal. The ship is like, you're leaning against the curve. Yeah, I know we're doing the thing with our hands, but people can't hear that. Yeah. But yeah, you pull away so fast, you're almost, you know, on your side, and you're having to like lean up against it. So that sound when you're doing that emergency breakaway, with the song was
It was kind of like a auto, like you'd hear the song kick on, and then your body was already braced for the turn, you know.
Yep.
It was like you hear the song, you know that the ship is gonna get sideways for a little bit.
Be like the Who, like,
Yeah.
My answer was also the bosun's pipe. And then when they would do that little vibration, you know,
The trill, I think, is that the one you're talking about?
yeah, when they would be
Yeah.
like, I can't do it, but I can't mimic it, but that it's annoying but cool at the same time.
I think it all, you know, it's all like as I'm further out of it, I kind of, you know, am more to the tradition of the whole
Yeah.
thing versus when I was 21 years old, like, yo, put a sock in it, big guy.
Yeah.
You know,
We get it.
and
The chow line is closed.
you know, and Warzella, I don't even know. I mean, like, for a guy like in your shoes, from the time you were 18, 19 years old, I imagine you probably got onto the ship when you were, what, 20?
19 or 20, yeah.
You know, I mean, I remember when you got on board, man, you were a little young buck.
Oh yeah.
And you know, the rest of us were already salty sea dogs. I mean, we hadn't technically seen the Navy yet because of some of the rules, but
Comparative to you.
Yeah.
no, and I don't even know. I mean, I don't know if there's ever a time when you've, you know, at your 16-year mark or whatever, if you've even like gotten to the point where you're like, I kind of get this more now than I did 10 years ago. You know, they would, you know, if maybe, you know, you fell into more of the you know, you appreciate the traditions more, and you may not until you're like, oh, shit, 12 years out.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely started to appreciate those traditions more, like ringing bells and all the honors and stuff like that. Like, it's definitely more prominent now than it was when I was 19, 20. just a little shithead first getting to the boat for sure. Like it's a lot different now. Like if you look at it and you're like, man, this stuff means something, right? But
I did notice earlier that you were referring to the ship as like she.
yeah.
And whenever I was in, we always just called it, yeah, we got to go to the boat, we got to go to the ship or whatever. I never put like a designation of being like, oh yeah, well, we'll get on her today or something. Like never did that. And I was listening, and I heard you saying, I was like, man, 16 years. I bet you just like. You probably didn't even realize when you hit that transition from being like got to go to the boat or referring to whatever ship as the boat or whatever.
Yeah.
And my grandpa, he was he did 22 years. He was a senior chief, boiler tech back in the day and stuff. And when I would refer to it as a boat in conversation with him, he would be like offended by it.
Damn.
He's like, that's not a boat. He's like, that you're on a ship, you're on a warship, you're on, and it was very like, serious thing for him to me to refer to it the right way. So in front of him, it would be like, try not to cuss in front of my parents. Yeah. Just like very conscious of the vocabulary and stuff that I'm using, versus in front of my friends and all that. Like in front of him, I was definitely like, the ship.
Yeah.
Her. I just thought that was kind of funny that I noticed that earlier. And man, I'm glad I could really work that into this conversation.
Amazing. Yeah, I think that's everybody, correct? I got someone interested in the conversation. I lost track of where we were at. All right, let's clear our minds again. Let's clear our minds. Minds are clear.
Yep.
Let's go with the sense of smell. Just think about a smell that reflects on your Navy career, and let's mix it up. Let's start with Joe. I mean, Andy. Let's start with Andy.
Are we really going with Andy, or are we going back to me?
You ready, Andy?
Like, what's the smell that kind of you?
I'll give my answer. Let me give my answer.
Yeah.
It's oven cooked bacon and batches of it, and I could still smell it. Waking up in the morning from boot camp, marching to the galley, I could smell the bacon across the sea. I've been trained on army bases, and I could smell bacon early in the morning, getting up for breakfast. Walking to the ship early in the morning, I could smell oven cooked bacon, and I just like bacon. That bacon traveled with me throughout my naval career.
Let's see.
Andy?
Yeah, feel like it's the weirdest thing too, and like I don't know why, but the first thing that randomly comes to me is Simple Green. I don't know. Like I never used Simple Green until I got to the Navy, and then like between being in the Navy and then when I was working at MCI and stuff like on base, like still came across it regularly. So Simple Green was that, cleaning chemical product or whatever, an all-purpose cleaner. But I had like a not really earthy, but like and it wasn't citrus. It was kind of like between citrus and earth.
Yeah,
smell like a natural smell
it
to
right
it.
now,
It was not pine salt.
Even like a minty, or
maybe, but I don't know, it was something. Yeah, it smelled green. I don't know.
It smelled green
without doing LSD. I don't know.
Right. It smelled like the color green.
Yeah.
And that was if it smells clean, then it is clean. That was one of the rules.
Yep.
And then I always remember also, like, before an inspection, you just spray the Simple Green in the air and let the mist carry over.
Just let them walk through it like a teenage girl.
Oh fuck.
Or like spray it into the vents if you have
right, putting dryer sheets over the vents kind of
Oh
thing.
yeah, that was dryer. It was actually dryer sheets.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Joe?
I like cigarette smoker.
Yeah.
I liked getting up in the morning and going out to the smoke deck and, catching all the vibes from everybody else during what man, a lot of stuff may happen in like that 9 hours I was asleep or whatever, in the middle, but getting up and when you're like in the middle of the ocean and that like salty sea, like cool air, on like a perfect morning or whatever, maybe the sun's not up all the way or whatever, but that's that salty breeze smell. And keep in mind, I'm from Kansas, so
Right.
we don't get that ever.
Yeah.
And so, and I didn't really have an opportunity to have it before then or really after that 6-year period of my life either. So I'm gonna go with that like early morning, like first like 10 minutes of being like outside on the top side on the weather decks, and there were some people that didn't go topside for like days. Oh, this is my first time outside in 3 or 4 days. Like, dude, you got to get outside like once a day. Get some vitamin D on you. You can't be sitting inside with that recycled air, recycled water, recycled, light, all that. So not recycled light, but fluorescent lighting or whatever. You got to get outside, get some of this
Going on.
beauty in there. So I mean, I'm gonna go with the salty sea breeze morning time.
You almost went on like a Fight Club monologue right there.
Yeah.
Recycle with the
Oh.
recycled air, recycled water, recycled life. Like that wasn't that not like a Fight Club-ish?
It's pretty close. It's pretty
monologue?
close.
Feels
It's
like a
pretty
Tyler
close.
Durden. Yeah.
Zella, how about you?
Yeah, so real quick as well with the smoke deck thing, who also doesn't love the smoke deck rumors that come from that, right? Like you have to find those things. That's the only way you find out anything ever is if you're just chilling up on the smoke deck, even if you're not a smoker, like
Yeah, you would go
up
get
on
the
the smoke
gossip.
deck. Yep.
Yeah.
It's the good spot to go get all the good information from the E5
Especially if you're not
guys.
if you're not wearing khakis, like
Yeah.
how else are you going to get your information by like third, fourth, fifth, second, hand
Yeah.
information? It's like a telephone game. Eventually you find out, that
Yeah.
I don't know. We're pulling to port today. No, that's just bullshit.
Yeah.
But hey, man, it all feels good at 8:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so for mine, I think it kind of got touched on as well, and I'm pretty sure I've heard you guys talk about it in other podcasts, but the smell that after you open that door for the first time to the ship after you've been away for like a weekend, the smell of recirc air or whatever is in the air on those ships is just like one of the most memorable things I think I've ever experienced. And whether it be a good or bad thing, I think that's got to be it for me. Like just the smell after a long weekend, you just come back on the ship and you can just smell the ship, and then all your clothes smell like the ship. And so I don't know what that actually. Did you guys ever figure out what that smell actually comes
No,
from?
and I always get. I'm 50-50 on reaction of the ship smell. I try to bring it up with every sailor that I interview, and I get 50-50 results so far. But let me ask you this, Zella. You're a traveled man. Does every ship have its own unique smell, or is it more or less the same?
I think everyone has their own unique smell. I think the cook definitely smelled way different than any ship I've been on since.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think they all smell the same. They're similar, but they're not the same. It's like,
Yeah, keep in mind on the Donald Cook, we have at least 3 guys here that claim to have sprayed Simple Green into the ventilation system.
Yeah, I mean, you can make it 4. Like,
so maybe we have a little bit different lifestyle there.
Yeah,
We didn't realize it was the ship smell, but it was.
our ship smell was just Simple Green.
Yeah.
Now I could just picture like Andy or Joe like finding like the central part of where the air gets recirculated and just like dumping Simple Green so it disperses throughout the entire ship.
Yeah.
Like clean like brass fittings and stuff with like Tabasco or any of that stuff. And what's that? What is that green shit? Verdigris or whatever they call that you're scraping off of those fucking.
Yeah.
When I did EDC 1, DC 09, fill in the blank, whatever you want to call it, and you would clean those things for like 2 or 3 days. All the top side like brass fixtures or whatever.
The fire hoses.
Yeah. And I would get that smell in my nose for like a week, and it would be like clogging my entire like will to live. You'd be spitting, and it would be just real like, I don't know. I mean, it's super unhealthy. Had to have been, because I mean, you spit it out for days. But I also thought about that too. We were talking about that simple grains. Oh shit, man! I remember fucking cleaning those things, and that just dusty, nasty shit that's you're scraping up with a wire brush.
Yeah,
that's pretty gross too.
I was also thinking about like the smell of like rust and salt when you're busting it up. That had like a unique smell.
I think needle gunning fills all the sensations that we have or will talk about in the near future. Like just needle gunning is every part of needle gunning is just like memorable in a lot of ways.
It attacks all your senses.
Yeah.
All right. Once again, let's clear our minds.
Okay.
Clear our minds. And now we're going with the feeling of touch. Andy, when you reflect on your Navy career and you think about the feeling of touch, is there a memory that comes to mind?
Touching something.
I mean, be careful of how you phrase things.
Yeah. I mean, really, it's the quick acting watertight doors, the big lever kind of thing. Just going for that, the easy one handle, gimmick vice. In the fan rooms, you'd have to individually dog all the doors down and everything. Just kind of that satisfying, like, automated hinge system, opening it up.
But feeling that big old heavy metal handle that.
Yeah. Feeling the gasket kind of release off the knife edge and everything.
Joe.
Feeling touch up. The constant like salty griminess of all the stuff when you're underway for 6 seconds.
Yeah. The salt on the sides of the ship.
They always tell you like, don't lean on the lifelines. Don't, you do it anyway.
Of course.
I mean, a lot of anytime I was topside, I was, posted up like a James Dean or something. At non-skid, I can always, anytime you had to like, work where you had to be like lower than standing up.
Yeah.
You had to be like, okay, well, I got to get, I got to get bust this rust or something down here. And then you're basically laying on like 7,000 dull razor blades.
Yeah.
That non-skid is unforgiving, like don't run on the non-skid. Don't have to tell me twice, man. I cut my hands like one time. I was like, this is fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Like my wrists are all like scraped up, like, and they don't heal for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Like, yeah. And there's always like probably every underway where someone just trips and falls, like doing line handlers, and just fucking scrapes up their whole fucking shit.
And then you lean up against the salty side of the ship, and it's just even more pain. You got salt in your open wounds now.
And for those that don't know, non-skid sounds exactly how it's named. It's just,
what's that shit made out of? Just like whipped concrete? I don't know. Like, it's so hard to explain. But for like people that have never been on a ship, like you're on a gigantic piece of fucking steel. It gets wet. I mean, it would be dangerous as shit unless you have 5 million dull razor blades sticking straight up that you can just walk on.
Yeah.
in a Tiger cruise and somebody brings their little like 6-year-old brother on the ship or something. He's running around like a dipshit. Like, someone get a hold of that goddamn kid. He's got shorts on.
Yeah.
Oh man. Zella.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me it'd be that feeling, like feeling my sheets at the end of a night, like getting into my rack, jumping, because I was always, since I was probably one of the most junior guys, I was top rack. So I'd like climb on, I grabbed on top of whatever pipes I could grab onto and like climb my way up into my rack without, you know, putting your feet on anybody else's rack is sacrilege. So you don't do that. So you got to do whatever you can to get up into your rack. But as soon as you hit
You have to do a muscle up.
yeah. I mean, damn near, right?
What
Like,
rack do you have now?
I'm middle rack now.
Oh, nice,
It's a good
dude.
life.
Yeah.
First class living.
Yeah. That's what 16 years gets you.
Middle rack.
Yeah. No retirement, no props, just a middle rack.
Still line handlers. Still doing unwrapped.
Oh yeah, I'll be on line handlers probably till I die. At least like aft safety or some shit. Like
Along
but
the
yeah,
same. Oh, keep finish.
oh no. Yeah, like when you climb into your rack, like whether like, you know, after a long day, especially on deployment, those are like the few moments you get that are a little bit unique to themselves. Otherwise, mostly it's a lot of like mundane, like you're doing the same thing over and over. But crawling up into your rack at the end of the night, at the end of a day, is just the feeling of like your sheets around you and laying down on that uncomfortable pillow is one of the better feelings that you'll feel, I think.
The pillow that's as flat as your sheets.
Yep.
Yeah, that really is a good feeling though, man.
Along
the
those same lines is clicking on your little fan in your rack.
The foot fan, yeah.
Yeah.
My feet.
Another honorable mention for me is like back when you're out into sea, or like especially like in the Gulf when your whole ship is covered in salt and it's humid outside, and then you step out for quarters and then you can feel all that salt and all that sweat on you. That's another thing that I think about.
I always like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we covered all 5 senses, right?
Sense of taste.
We didn't do that one.
I don't
I don't think so.
remember.
No.
All right, let's clear our minds.
We don't have to do the sense of taste.
Oh, this is the point of the conversation is
Okay.
memories based on our 5 senses. All right, so we're clearing our minds. We're clearing our minds. Andy, when you think of a taste or something in your mouth, is there a memory that you can think of?
I mean, other than breakfast,
Yeah,
you know,
I think it's going to be a food-based memory.
right?
Breakfast.
The Vienna sausages, man.
Oh, jeez.
It was one of those things you either got into them or you didn't, and it was a decent snack. It was horrible for you because it's chock full of sodium, but you know, why not?
Right now, I'm thinking about breakfast pizzas.
Yeah.
Joe, you got one? I guess taste is a pretty terrible.
Yeah, chicken cordon bleu when done the right way. No, I honestly don't have a particular taste that reminds me of the Navy, I guess.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess you can't really
sandwiches. I mean, I don't know. Like, I eat a lot of the same stuff then that I do now. I actually just order off of I order directly from a naval base and then just ship it over in a box. So I've got like 50-pound bags of rice down here in the basement, and then I put gravy on it. And then egg sandwiches.
Zella, you got anything worthwhile?
The hamsters actually was a really good shout, I think. Like chicken cordon bleu or like we call them hamsters, right? Like
Oh.
you guys still call them that. Like you guys got out right after I came in, but you guys called them that, right? No.
No.
I didn't. I
So
didn't.
that's
That must
what-
be a sonar thing. I don't know.
That's what everybody started calling them. Maybe right after you guys. Maybe it's a sonar
Yeah.
thing. We are weird.
Yeah.
And then we'll say Middle Eastern sodas.
Oh yeah.
Haji soda.
There's a different. Yep.
Real sugar.
I wasn't sure if we were going that route or not on these, but
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you guys could defend yourselves.
generic enough.
Yeah. So like Mountain Dew overseas was the shit. Like
Yeah.
that was that's probably one of my more memorable tastes
Uh,
is the overseas soda.
Gotcha. Let's go along the same lines. Is there like I remember drinking absinthe for the first time overseas. Was there anything? Did you do any like tasting traditions while you were overseas, Joe?
My very first port was that one in Spain. What was it called? You were there,
Tarragona?
Tarragona, Spain.
I think so.
And the Navy was really trying to change its like image, I guess, at this time of my there was a big pandemic of like drunk driving and drunken publics and all this shit, and so they were really cracking down on like having too much fun. I mean, like it really was like cracking down too much fun because, like, I mean, like your buddies wouldn't let you sit there and like shit your pants or beat the hell out of a local guy or something. Like most people with a brain wouldn't. I mean, obviously there's outliers, and those are the ones that make the news.
Yeah,
and yes, there's DUIs. You have millions of people in the military. That's going to happen. You try not to make it right after I got out. I'll tell you that. So they had that thing like, well, you can't do shots, you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, we got to Tarragona, Spain that first night. Obviously, they're like, you can't do this. So we, instead of going to, the bar that everyone else was going to, like 25 feet off the dock or whatever, we went 15 miles into town. And what did we do?
Everything.
We drank beers. We did shots. We did shots of absinthe. We did shots of. I mean, we did a fuck ton. I threw up on the way back to the cab ride or whatever. Like, I mean, I remember like being on the street at like 9 o'clock at night and like throwing up in like a street side trash can, being like, "Don't say a fucking word to anybody that this just happened," because one person tells somebody else. Next thing you know, they're like, "Oh yeah, he was." Wearing a lampshade on his head or some bullshit. So I definitely, yeah, of course I did. It was just like we were in port in like Norfolk, and like, here's the list of off-limit places. And you're like, okay, so how cool are those places then?
Yeah.
Obviously, and I'm not going to, like shoot up heroin or snort cocaine or bring a gun into a bar or something stupid, but those are the coolest places to go to.
Weren't those lists really like a list of like the places that only officers are going to go to as well?
And I always thought
the
that
chiefs
too.
and
It was always
officers.
the joke.
Yeah.
I always thought that too, like that, like just they would have to brush elbows with enlisted people, and every one of those chiefs, every one of those officers was doing absinthe and doing shots on that deployment and everything else. I mean, don't try to fucking,
especially like the JOs right out of the academy or college,
right?
Or whatever. Like,
like don't try to act pious or whatever because you're wearing khakis. You're younger than I am. Your mustache is like 4 hairs, tough guy. You're no. Yeah. That always. But yeah, as soon. I mean. Yeah, that was like almost like I remember being on that deployment, and Drew and Cole were like, "No, we're going out to, and we're gonna do whatever the fuck we want to do, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna do exactly what It was you hung out with your brothers and you didn't say anything about it, and you everybody kept their mouths shut. Nobody.
Yeah.
You were gonna rat each other out. You're Liberty buddies. You're not Liberty acquaintances.
Yeah.
Unless you had that one
thing.
guy.
Yeah. That's one thing that's changed like tremendously between then and now. Like I mean, when we go out and you had to have like whatever your designated drinking buddy on that '07 deployment. Towards the end of it, I think at the beginning they didn't give a shit, and then towards the end they were like, "All right, we have to actually take this serious." But like, as long as you could make it up the brow, right? Like, as long as you could walk up the brow under your own power and get to your rack, nobody gave a shit. And
Right.
now it's no. There's like they'll breathalyze you as you're coming up the brow. If you're this, if you're the yeah. Ships have breathalyzers now.
Wait, we can't blow a .08 or what?
Like if you're the designated non-drinker,
Oh
like if you,
shit.
Oh
you-
no! Oh
yeah.
no!
So like there has to be an actual like DD. No.
They walk you around these fucking places?
Oh my gosh.
So like yeah, I
How
mean,
hard is that?
I haven't had to deal with it yet. Because
Well,
my
first class,
ship's
I ain't doing
not going
shit.
through active. Yeah.
You just pull rank.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck you, guy.
That's
But yeah,
that's
it's
nuts.
it's
And
definitely changed so much.
they're ratting people out for that shit.
Yep.
Oh, you guys got to be effing kidding me. Yeah. See, I'm glad we've never approached the conversation on any of these things about would you let your kids join the military? Because I've got a whole mess of shit about that, and but that is one of those things there that's definitely just made the list of. Gotta be kidding me.
You guys ever have that talk? Let me know. I'll definitely be a guest star on that too.
Yeah, maybe in
Yeah.
3 years.
I'll do it before. I want to incriminate myself.
I can't believe that's crazy.
Not
I mean, half the
surprised
fun.
anymore.
I'm not that shocked, I guess, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we get into sea stories from deployments post you guys, like after all of you guys were probably out, we'll talk.
Jesus.
I can talk about like the '09 deployment or the 2011-12 deployment, which was well after you guys, and it just steadily got worse about stuff, just not in a great way.
wow.
Yeah.
All right,
Please.
this next question, guys, for you guys is a little deeper. So and this is just a memory question. Is there a memory that gets replayed in your head about your like naval career? Like you just like every once in a while it just pops up in your head randomly, something, or like one of those memories that just keeps replaying in your head no matter what that's not jogged on by anything or brought up by anything. It's just a memory that just constantly replays in your head. And then for example, one that's been replaying in my head recently is like I forget what deployment we were on, but I just remember everybody was checked on board, and we're just kind of waiting to get underway, and we were all just like hanging out like on the aft missile deck, and like we knew that we were about to go underway for a long ass time, but everybody was like in a pretty chill mood. The weather was nice. Everybody was just shooting shit like as if we weren't gonna go on this like crazy experience, but everybody was just like together and just bullshitting as if it was just another Tuesday or something. I that's been replaying in my head a lot lately. How about you guys?
I don't know. I mean, there's so many random. I often think of some of the random weird.
There's not
funny
like a
memories.
memory that like just always every couple months or every couple years that like a specific memory that just replays in your head and that you think about often or more often than anything else.
I don't think there's anything recurring. I'll just have different random memories that come up, based on either thinking about, a shipmate or just, whatever.
The best way that I could explain this question is like, it's usually like something embarrassing that you did like in high school. And then you think about like, oh, why did I like, you know what I'm saying, Joe?
I mean, kind of, and I'm trying to think of like
Yeah.
a memory that really, really sticks out to me.
It doesn't have to
about
be
that.
embarrassing. It's just a random memory that's always with you throughout your life about the Navy.
Man,
It's definitely a tougher question.
You know, I mean, at this point in time, I mean, shit, I've been out for. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't know if this is. I don't. I may have to. I may have to dwell on this for a minute. I mean, thinking about something that may have happened or may not have happened. I remember when I went on Liberty Risk. Sometimes that's an embarrassing story for me. I was in Oman. That was in that little half deployment I did.
Yeah.
I threw up in my hat.
You say again, you broke up.
I threw up in my hat on the bus. I was sitting next to this gentleman named Robert, and he was like, "Oh, what, dude?" And I'm like, I looked, and I was like, "Shut the fuck up." You know, like, don't say another word. And what did he do? Acted like I had the fucking COVID and like crawled out of the seat damn near. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I got the bus.
I think I remember that.
And I was like, you got, I mean, like it was just like a whoop. And I was like, oh shit. And I just like folded the hat up and I didn't say a word. And he's like acting like a fucking butthole about it. And next thing you know, I got to get the 3rd degree when I get back on there, and they had to go to DRB and shit for it. Like, you got 30 days on the ship. I'm like, okay, when's the next port visit? They're like, 28 days from now. I'm like, welcome aboard, sluts. Like, I missed out on like one port, and it was like Jabal Ali or something. You know, I was like, whatever. And then I went to the next one, and bam, I was fine.
So that's like a story I think most normal people have, is like throwing up into something. Most normal Navy people, right? Like, I threw up into something random, like a trash bag or my backpack or a hat. So I thought originally that wasn't the deployment I was on with you, or the half deployment I was on with you, because we stayed up.
Oh no, that was actually my very first deployment, and we were in Muscat, Oman, or however you pronounce it.
Muscat,
because I remember Josh Cole was there, and I was on Liberty Risk, and we went to a bar anyway.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like that's every deployment I can remember somebody doing some shit like that. Like, I think it was in Greece when it happened for us on that 07 deployment. And like, I can just remember everybody like moving as far away from they could, away from whoever it was that threw up into something. So like, that story is, I think everybody should have one of those I threw up into a random objects stories.
How about you, Zella? You got any like reoccurring memory that just pops up in your head occasionally, more often than not?
Yeah, that one's tough. I think so I don't know how much we're talking about personal people, but like the first time I went out with D-Graph, if you guys remember him, like he took me out, and I think it was like me, him, and another sonar tech. I don't remember his first name, but Lawrence, I think, was his last name.
Oh, Larry Robinson.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was his. Robinson was his last name. Yeah. Yep. So like I went out with them too, and I was just like baffled at how like much they did not give a fuck at how much people were drinking or like where we were. They were the bravest people on the planet in my like 19 or 20-year-old eyes. You know, I was just like, how are we completely comfortable with going out and like getting lost on some side street? And I think that was one of the more memorable ones for me. It was just because we ended up like down some random streets, and I was just like, how are you guys comfortable with where we are right now?
Now, and we were in Italy, and it was either me and Augusta or me and Colson. But originally it was the 3 of us that had gone out, and one of them went back with some other Liberty group. So we left the 2 of us. It was me, and I couldn't remember which one it was, and we got annihilated. And it was like 10 minutes before we had to get back to the ship, and we're like, fuck, it's just the 2 of us. And we're going to be walking back to the ship without the 3rd Liberty buddy. And we saw D-Graph, and he was with his group. I don't remember who it was. It might have been you and Rob, and they're like, just join the group and don't say a fucking word. And we walked onto that ship. I mean, and me and whoever else it was, I mean, we were shithoused.
Yeah.
We could barely walk, we could barely talk, we could barely sign our names onto that sheet.
Yep.
And we got back on that ship, and it was like signing for your Liberty buddies. And I just like wrote next to like Rob's name, like Joe or something, and didn't say where. The next day I got up and I was like, dude, thank you so much, because you just saved 2 dudes from getting fucking toast. I mean, we were.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I know for sure one of them was definitely D-Graph, for sure. Should I have to send him like a ham or something? I was a young buck back then, man. He saved my life.
Yeah.
It does remind me, like, one of the times I would always, if we were ever in foreign ports and stuff like that, or just anywhere but Norfolk, like the mid-watch away from home port was always fun, because you would catch everybody coming back and you would just kind of gauge how shithoused everyone was. It was just interesting to see, people coming back with tales from the road, if you will.
I even liked staying and watch on the weekends, like at like 3:00 in the morning, and catching all the dudes that lived on the ship, or they couldn't, like, I just got a cab back here, man. Fuck it. And like just being like super smashed and just cracking up, like, get him down, just ringing. And nobody ratted on anybody.
No.
It was like you could watch them like stumbling, and the officer deck would be like, I'm gonna get him down to the rack or whatever. Okay, not a big deal. Not a big deal. It wasn't like, they had the, flashing lights, the cops chasing like it's a fucking video game or something, and now they got breathalyzers just trying to turn in your friends and shit. No, dude.
Culture is, I mean, we won't stay on it too long, but like the culture is just massively different than it was on that 07. Like,
I think that you were probably.
Sorry, go ahead.
You were too young for like when I was transitioning out. I think I probably had like less than a year or so when you got on board the Donald Cook.
Yeah.
And I mean, the things that Adam and I were doing almost daily, or Andy was involved in, and Shelly, I mean, not anything weird, just being 23, 24-year-old dudes, 22-year-old guys. I mean, just getting absolutely obnoxious, and
We were hellions.
catching a cab back to the ship or something, and just being like, and then being, absolutely fucking bonkers, like on the quarterdeck, and so, I mean, it was a lot of that going on.
All right, guys, I say we start winding down. I always forget. Do we do the beer reviews first and then our 2-minute free talk, or vice versa?
I think that's what we do.
Is it the beer reviews first?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start it off. Once again, I had the Golden Road Brewing Company Mango Cart. It's a mango wheat ale. And right off the bat, I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm getting it 5 out of 5 bottle caps. It's like mimosa level, orange juice level. Like, I would drink this beer for breakfast if I had a day off. It's a really good beer. I highly recommend it. 4% ABV, 5 out of 5 bottle caps. Andy, remind everybody what you're drinking and give us your review.
Yeah, it's Yingling's Hershey Chocolate Porter. They're from Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Yingling Brewery Company, America's oldest brewery. I'd given it a 3.75 or whatever on Untapped, which is more or less in line with the average user review is like 3.8. It's 4.7 ABV, and it's it's good. It's not like a super heavy porter, but you have like just enough of that malty chocolate like flavor to it, but it's not like super sweet or nothing. It's just kind of like a nice mellow, chocolatey beer or whatever. I don't know, like it's good. Like it's nice. It's a good change.
Is it like after dinner beer, or can you?
Yeah, like, well, I mean, you could.
Is it like a dessert beer, or can you drink it?
You can drink it kind of regular, but it's like, yeah, good either after meal or snack beer. I don't know. Yeah.
Joe, remind everybody what you're drinking and give us your review.
Right, man. I'm drinking the KC Beer Company, the Dunkel. It's a Munich style brown lager, 5.0. It's man, I really like this beer. I really do. It's I would say like in the last like 2 years, it's in like good bars and it's in shitty bars. I mean, that says something, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like like I say, it's dark. It's German style. It's kind of like real. It's kind of malty and like kind of like maybe like burnt, kind of toasty. I don't know. I take it to people's houses that I want to impress with my ability to buy a $16 12 pack. Generally, I'm a cheap beer guy. I'll bring over like some Bud Light or something to somebody's house, some Busch lattes or something, you know, depending on like what I want to do. I mean, I'll get smashed on some Dunkels.
Nice.
But if I'm, you know, if I want to, you know, impress some people, like, hey, you know, I'm not just bringing over shitty beer. Dunkel's the choice for me. With that being said, I'm giving a 4.5. I don't know what a 5.0 beer is.
Yeah.
Because that seems to me like it's such an unattainable thing. Like maybe, I don't know, Mike's Hard Lemonade. No, I'm just kidding.
Enough ice.
You had me going.
Everybody knows it's Twisted Tea. But I mean, it's easy drinking. I drink it at bars all the time. I wake up on a Saturday, go get some lunch or something. I'll probably drink a couple of Dunkels. I go out to dinner on a Wednesday. I'm probably gonna have a couple of Dunkels. I like the beer. It's delicious. It's awesome. It's malty, toasty, fantastic stuff. 4.5. Come to Kansas City. Look me up. Let's go get some Dunkels. Let's get weird. You know, let's listen to some old school rap and just get tanked on, you know, a $16 12 pack.
Nice. Ordella, before you give us your review, just to let you know that we got an official Untapped account. We rate the beers, I put them up, and then maybe at the end, I don't know what I'm gonna do with the information yet, but we rate the beers and we track it that way. I like to say that we rate it out of 5 bottle caps, and the 3 is like your go-to beer. 4 or 5 if you want to impress people at a party or something, that's what you're bringing, and then go from there. Remind everybody what you're drinking and give us your rating and review.
So before I give this, I almost, because I've listened to all of the Sea Story episodes, I almost just brought like a Miller High Life and just like went off on Miller High Life. Because, you know, Miller High Life is like the go-to.
Yeah.
That is my go-to beer if I'm going to drink a beer. But today, you know, I decided to get a little bit crazy. So it's the Lagunitas Hazy Wonder. It's 6% ABV. They're from Southern California area. To be honest, it's not much different than any other hazy IPA. If you like hazy IPAs, you'll like it. But it's not special. It has all the goings of any other hazy, but it just nothing stands out. Nothing special really about it. It's a little bit of a shame because Lagunitas is generally really good beer, but this just didn't do anything extra or special. So I'd probably give it like, you know, a 3.4, 3.3.
We go in quarters.
Oh, okay. So a 3.25 then.
Gotcha. Perfect.
I will tell you this. Anybody else that's listening to this that maybe wants to jump on someday, just because you like High Life, no judgment from me.
It's a champagne of beers, man.
I drink
Ain't
that
nothing
shit
wrong with it.
all the every Christmas. I buy the big champagne bottle of High Life
Oh,
and have a great time drinking on it myself. I love High Life. High Life's in like my probably top 3 beers of all time. Dominic Magny got me hooked on that shit when we were living in that apartment over there in Virginia Beach Boulevard. I love that shit.
I'm a Coors guy myself, and that's mostly because Joe and I visited the brewery. And
You're still doing that?
Yeah, I still drink Coors.
Man.
And,
They took care of us there.
Yeah, they did.
That's why I always felt
man.
really good about that. I thought that was really good of them. And yeah, Warzilla, yeah, it's you're kind of away from your home of North Carolina, so you've got to kind of like find a new beer out there in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Versus being, I mean, I'm sure if you were sitting on your leather love seat in North Carolina, you'd have brought, some sort of beer from North Carolina, but you can't really find it. So we get it, man.
Yeah, it's all right. I do like some good.
If you do
California
another one,
beers,
you can bring whatever you want, man. I'm thinking about doing a Mickey's like 40 run the next time I do this shit.
There's actually I don't know when, but there's gonna be a front porch 40-ounce episode where everybody brings as close to a 40-ounce as possible. I know some states, they only go to 32 or something.
Yeah. Ports.
And now it's time for our 2-minute free talk where we could talk about anything not related to the podcast. I need a good name for this category, right?
Oh man. Yeah, give me some time to think about that.
We call it the smoke deck,
and maybe I can text you about
the smoke deck, maybe. The smoke pit.
Best I got to shoot from the hip, but
Oh, it doesn't matter. I have nothing prepared right now, but Andy, do you want to start it off?
I don't have much.
All right, I'm starting the time once you start talking.
Sure. Well, as we record this, it is the Navy's birthday, so I figure that's worth mentioning. So happy 246 to the Navy. We've all survived or served, or however you want to see it. A lot of good memories. Obviously, we started a podcast about it. So, and then in other news, pretty crazy that Shatner went to space today.
Awesome. Oldest guy.
Yeah, 90. It's insane.
Jeez.
He doesn't act or
At
look
all.
90. Like he gets around clearly. But I mean, Captain Kirk in space for real. That's all I got.
Awesome. Joe, as soon as you start talking, I'll start the timer.
All right. Just finished wrapping up all of the seasons of Scrubs. Highly recommend the entire series. I've seen it before, with the exception of the last season. Last season is complete garbage. I do like the youngest Franco, though. He's kind of funny. He's always been kind of funny. What's his name? Anybody can just jump in.
It's not. Is it Jacob or no? What's his fucking?
You're doing a terrible job of jumping in. Dave Franco.
Dave Franco.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is uninterrupted, by the way.
Oh shit. Okay. But have recently started the newer episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm. If you're not watching that show, you're wrong. It is fantastic stuff. Awesome. Great. Check it out. HBO Max. Get on it. I'm trying to get work up my free time to go see a little bit of that Squid Game. I haven't seen it yet. I've heard great things about it. If anybody wants to say like yay or nay right now, I'm totally into you cutting into my 2 minutes. Outside of that, not really a whole lot going on, man. Just listening to things that I've been listening to forever, which is mostly 90s alternative, and living life, man. Doing good things. And just so that, in case anybody gives a shit, watch the fucking YouTube. Watch Semen on Film. It's fun. It's kind of funny. You may, if you don't like the movie, don't watch it that we're talking about. But if you do like the movie we're watching, come on. Like, come on. We're gonna tell you what we're gonna play. It's on there. You just gotta tune in. Watch the last one. Watch the last 10 minutes of the first episode. You'll find out what we're talking about for the next one. You can hop on. You can send your emails, comments, whatever. And if we don't even know you and you're listening to this right now, send an email. We can squeeze you in on some sort of a show at some point in time. We'd love to have you.
You went over. I'll just subtract it from your next 2 minutes. I'll go next. We'll save our special guest for last. I originally wanted to do my 2 minutes on and talk about Derek Carr and how great of a quarterback he was and how underappreciated he is. But then this whole John Gruden situation came up, and I'm not even gonna touch. Instead, I'm gonna focus my 2 minutes on the very last Daniel Craig James Bond film that I'm fucking super stoked to go see. I'm fucking full on Daniel Craig Bond is the greatest Bond ever. I love all four of the movies. Oh, I love all three of the movies. I haven't seen the fourth, and I'm fucking stoked to go see it. I think it's gonna be dope. Seems like a lot of great actors are on it. Greatest Bond. And I also want to throw Idris Elba's hat in the ring for the next Bond. I think that'd be go that route. I think that's a solid route. I just want to do another little plug. We have a YouTube. Search for the Average G.I. Joe on YouTube or search for Semen on Film. That's our movie club. It's called Semen on Film. Our first movie we reviewed and talked about was Smoking Aces. The next movie is going to be entirely hosted by Andy, and it's the movie Christine, the Stephen King, based on the Stephen King book, directed by John Carpenter, I believe. We're going to be discussing that. We're going to be discussing it live, so if you can't get on the video, you could definitely join the conversation on the chat room. If you want to try to get on the episode, hit up Andy Mattis because he has full control of that episode. And that's 1 minute and 50 seconds. Orzella, you got 2 minutes to talk about whatever you want, starting when you begin talking, obviously.
Sweet, man. So first, I just want to thank you guys for having me on. It's been amazing just catching back up with you guys and just talking to people from back in the day, a little bit different Navy back then. So I appreciate it. And anytime you guys are doing something, you guys need a body, or if you guys want to, have somebody on, I'm more than happy to do it. This has been a blast, so I appreciate it. Next thing, happy birthday, Navy. I'd be remiss to say that. Can't go without saying it. So happy birthday. Next thing, I got to shout out CA Division, right? So I may have been plugging this to some people on the boat. So if they're listening, hopefully they are. Give these guys some listens, and it's been a great time. So shout out to CA Division, of course, the best division, right? I definitely second that Idris Elba shout. And I haven't been to a movie theater since before the pandemic. So I'm looking forward to getting back in the movie theater because it's been a while, and for as much as I like movies, it's a little upsetting. So can't wait to get back out there. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got, guys. I appreciate it again, and looking forward to listening to you guys and hopefully getting to do this again with you. So thanks.
Yeah, we appreciate you having you on. Is definitely done.
Absolutely.
Obviously, we're always. I wish it didn't take so long. I wish we could do it more regularly, but there's a lot of time and coordination, and we definitely want to bring more of our shipmates, more veterans on to talk about and relive some of the glory days, if you will. Follow the podcast It's streaming on most streaming platforms. You can follow us on Twitter at Average G.I. Pod. You can follow the Facebook group at the Average. Just search for on Facebook the Average G.I. Joe. We're starting to get the YouTube page running. Just search for the Average G.I. Joe podcast. Yeah, we got the Seaman on Film movie club going on. We got the Average G.I. Joe official playlist filled with songs dedicated by past interviewees. Am I missing anything, you guys?
I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, the Twitter, social media, whatever to follow and keep up with the show basically. So
Follow RJW.
Follow
Yep.
RJW.
Yeah.
for sure.
Andy, when's the band getting back out there? Any news
So
on that front?
Yeah, nothing's booked yet, but I got to reach out to one of the venues here in Virginia Beach about putting our name like on the list or seeing when there's an open date for a local show, and we're basically ready to suit up once we get a gig booked basically. So everything's
Awesome.
about to swing back up, so be sure to look up Sinister X. It's facebook.com/Sinister X official. It's a good place to find us and kind of keep up with things there. We'll start being more active here pretty soon for sure as we get back into action.
Awesome. Once again, I appreciate you guys for joining us, and especially you, Joe, Andy, and Zella. Thanks again. Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, guys.